Hey guys, when it comes to natural supplements, there are three big ones right now. And you know 100% that one of them is Turkesterone. The other one is Ecdysterone, and then there's the sapogenics type of supplement, as you all know from huge supplements, that main ingredient, Diosgenin. So these three supplements are super popular, and they are popular for good reason too, because they are natural ingredients from plant-based steroids that help, that are supposed to be helpful in gaining muscle and strength. As you know, a few months ago, Turkesterone was one of the supplements that was debunked for not actually having Turkesterone, and many supplements were tested, and this was a big thing on Reddit. But basically, most companies were just using 1% of what they claim to use on the labels. But anyway, this is a new company, and I actually know the owner, so I'm pretty good friends with them. But as with all supplements, I am fair with my reviews, and they have sent this to me for free, but that's like with most supplements I receive for review. So that's just full disclosure for you guys. But the price, let me just start with that. So if you were to get Turkesterone, that would be like $70, right, for one bottle, maybe $50 if you're lucky. But these three are selling for $100 right now for a month's supply, which is pretty fair, I think, when it comes to natural supplements. And these are all three big ingredients, three big supplements. There's a big bumblebee near me, but I don't think it's gonna bother me. If it does, I have a bit of phobia with bees. But so these three supplements, Ecdysterone, Turkesterone, and Diosgenin, pretty big. And for the price, 3 bottles for 1 month, that's pretty fair, $100. And that's at a discount right now. But they're not just those 3 ingredients in these supplements. There are other ingredients that are in these as well. So it's like an anabolic natural type of supplement. And so let me just start with the first label real quick, just go over the ingredients, and then I'll talk about my experience as I use it for a month. So the first ingredient, Diosgenin, that's 98%, 190 milligrams. And then we have citrus paradis, that's 98% naringenin. You can see the label right here on this side, 20 milligrams. And then we have piperine to help you absorb all the ingredients that's in here. And that's basically the same formula for Ecdysterone. So each one of these has like the main ingredient, and then the other 2 ingredients are the same across all 3. So in every one of these bottles, there is the same 2 ingredients, but the main difference is the first ingredient is different, starting with Ecdysterone, Turkesterone, and then Diosgenin. So all these 3 supplements are shown to help improve muscle mass in some way or another. And some of the big ways it helps with that is Diosgenin actually helps with insulin sensitivity. It should help reduce insulin resistance, which means if you take it on an empty stomach and you're fasted, which you should be anyway taking it on an empty stomach, the instructions, well, actually some of them say take it with meals. All 3 of these supplements, they say take it with meals, but I've been taking it on an empty stomach. And I know Diosgenin helps with blood sugar. So the theory behind Diosgenin is to help with insulin resistance and sensitivity. So did I make crazy gains? Did I break crazy PRs in the gym? So I took these across 4 weeks. And in the span of a month, I was looking much fuller. Let me just say that. I went to the gym barely like once a week, twice a week, if I was lucky, because I was in Canada and I was traveling and didn't really have an established routine. But having that said, while taking these, I was on a super, I looked super fuller. And every time I went to the gym once a week, I would just feel stronger, refreshed. Of course, that's mostly because I was going once a week. But even that, like if I do go once a week, usually if I do, I usually feel like more of a burn in the gym. I have much lower tolerance for pain. But while taking these, I just felt stronger and refreshed. So did I gain any weight? Well, to be honest, it looked like I lost fat, but my weight was the same. I was 90 kilos throughout the entire time. And throughout the year, I'm usually about the same weight, but my fat levels might be dropping. It's super hard to tell without, proper scientific equipment, like a fat measuring scale and all this. But the way I felt, that's the only way I can describe this, because I didn't I didn't do the proper measurements, to see if I actually gained anything. But when I look at the pictures, I'm in the gym barely once or twice a week, and I'm just looking fuller, and my fat looked lower than normal. Like my diet was off, my program was off, and if that happens, usually I look good, but not to the point where I look fuller and pumped every time I work out, which is like once a week. And again, I felt refreshed. Like usually if I go once a week, I feel more of a burn and I feel more exhausted. Whereas if I go on a regular basis, a couple times a week, I have the physical endurance, like I can sustain the pump and the burn. I have a much higher tolerance for pain in the gym, Yeah, usually if I take ecdysterone on its own, I don't see the same results. Like I feel stronger, but I don't look fuller. And then I have taken turkesterone as well on its own, and I barely noticed anything, if there was any difference at all. And this was all before I've taken all three of these at the same time. So taking all three of these at the same time, I noticed much more fullness and I felt stronger. But again, I didn't actually break any PRs, but I was able to sustain my strength, to sustain my physical fitness throughout the month while only going once or twice a week. And twice a week was if I was lucky. Would I promise you that you would gain muscle while taking these? There's no way I can promise that with all natural supplements, and especially something that has very limited research. It's very hard to say how you would react to this and if it's worth it for you to try. But if you're like an experienced lifter and you have tons of experience and you're taking your creatine, whey protein, you have a proper sleep and proper program, then something like this would give you an edge in your program. And especially considering one of these would cost $50 on its own, and then if you get all three, you get it for $100, and that's at a discount. So it's pretty fair, especially considering Diosgenin, which is in Magna GenetX, that sells for $100 per bottle. And that actually worked well for me, better than ecdysterone and turkesterone. But taking all three of these, I don't know if it's the orange extract in here, I felt fuller and my fat just looked lower. And I was eating a lot of junk food at the time too, so nothing was perfect. Everything was kind of down during that month of taking it. So didn't really to give it a fair trial, but looking at my pictures and seeing how I looked beforehand when I started the cycle, I just looked better. And taking this on an empty stomach really helped with my hunger. I wasn't hungry and I wasn't disgusted with food either, so it wasn't like it was suppressing my appetite. I could still eat, but I wasn't more hungry than usual or anything abnormal like that. And I didn't really feel like I was on something, but it did feel like it gave me an edge, especially when I look back and think of how terrible I was eating. Like I was eating junk food every other day, wasn't really working out, barely got any cardio in, and I sustained my physique, which is not normal over like in a span of a month, even more than a month. I was there and didn't have an established routine. But when I was working out, I would work out in the apartment building, the gym there, but after about a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, we had to change the apartment, so there was some complications into where I would work out next. But really it did make a difference in my look, and I would recommend you giving these three a try. If you try turkesterone and ecdysterone on its own, good, but I think this is like next level, taking all three. And I trust the company. They are a very good, honest team, and I trust the company. They are very honest with their ingredients, and I know they are using what the label says, what it claims to have. I know it probably has it, but could it have been a placebo effect? Possibly. But I still recommend you give it a try, especially considering you can get it for like $100. If you use my discount code, you get a little bit off. That's like around $80 then. It costs you for all three of these supplements, which is pretty fair. Like I would say it's pretty fair. But when it comes to how much weight I gained, there was no difference, but the fat just looked better. Like I dropped fat, if anything. and I looked fuller and I felt strong in the gym. I just felt refreshed every time I would go. So give these 3 a try. They are from a new company called Magna GenetX. They are off to a good start, and I would like to thank them again for sending me these. And if I was to run them again, I'll make sure to run it on a proper program, and I'll measure my results to see how it looks. But going off what I felt and what I looked like, I looked fuller, I felt better, and I felt stronger every time I went in the gym. So I would definitely recommend you trying these if you're like an experienced lifter trying to get an edge in the gym. But otherwise, like, keep using creatine and whey protein, get your sleep and a proper program in, and you'll be on a good start. And there's no better program than one that has compound lifts. So I have free program spreadsheets on my website, FitFrek.com. You can get anything. And remember, you have to save those sheets as your own, so then you can edit and put your own 1 rep maxes. So then the program will just like adjust and give you the numbers you should be aiming for each week. So yeah, give these 3 a try. They're really good, as far as I could tell. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Let me know how you think of the background, what you think of it. And thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe and the like button if you found this video useful and if you want to see more of these. Thank you so much, and please let me know if you have any questions.